about Black Friday and all that stuff. So typically every year I warn you guys about doing things with the whole Black Friday and all the extra shopping that's going on for the holidays. Now this year might be a little bit different. Might be a little bit different because of COVID. Stores may not be as packed. You may not be feeling as comfortable running out there and fighting over those toys and clothes and all that other stuff. But you're probably going to spend a lot of time online shopping. You're probably going to spend a whole bunch of time online shopping. Now, it's kind of helpful because at least you don't have that person behind the counter, offering you that credit card and an additional 10% off or whatever it is. You don't have that. You don't have that in your face. It's no, we talked about it before. And sometimes it's difficult to say no, to pass on that particular card if that person behind the counter is a good saleswoman or salesman, and it's a little bit difficult, and if they're persistent, then, sometimes that's really, it's really difficult to say no to those people. So now you don't necessarily have that. But what you do have though is a bombardment, if you will, a bombardment of advertising and offers all over the screen. So I don't care if you go to Kohl's website or Meyer or Walmart, Target, whoever's website you go to, there is a bombardment of advertisements about what they have to offer. So it doesn't matter what it is. If it's 10% off, 20% off, whatever it is, there's a bunch of advertisements. Don't click on that stuff. Don't click on that stuff. If you don't need the credit card, don't apply for the credit card. Don't apply for it for just an extra 10% off. It's not worth it in the long run when it comes to that versus your credit and your credit score. It's just not worth it. So I'ma say it again this year as well. Try to stay away from those things. Now, of course, you got to make your own decision. You're grown people, and you got to know thyself. If you're buying something that is expensive, it's really expensive, and you can get 20% off of it, and 20% happens to be $200, on top of the other sale that they have, maybe you want to take that deal. But if you're talking about a $20 item, and you're going to get 20% off that $20 item, it's probably not worth it to go ahead, put you in an application, get it back, get that new card, or get denied for that card and get those points deducted from your credit report. I think last week I kind of told you guys, I typically see 2 to 10 points come off when you have an inquiry. However, experience says you either get 5 or you get 10 points deducted from your credit report. And Vantage is saying you're getting anywhere from 10 to 20 points off just for applying for a credit. And that's whether you get it or you don't get it. So I'm cautioning you again about applying for things that you don't need. Anytime you're dealing with anybody, I don't care if you're dealing with PayPal and they keep sending you those emails talking about, you got credit worth this and you've got credit worth that. Do not apply for those things if you don't absolutely need them. All right, you don't want to do that at all. Just don't do it. Just stick away from it. So, since it is Black Friday-ish this year, because they've already started Black Friday deals online, sometimes in store already, because they're not trying to pack everybody and their mama in the store like they used to, Thursday night, Friday morning, and Saturday mornings. They're not trying to do that this year. There's a lot of deals out there. Just make sure that you're careful about what you're doing with those things. One way, and it's more convenient. It is convenient if you've got like an account somewhere. You set up your account or whatever. You have your credit card information stored in a place. It makes it more convenient, right? Makes it more convenient. You want to buy something at a particular store. You went through, clicked the items. Yep, that's my delivery address. Hey, I got free delivery. Great. You've clicked through all those things, and then your credit card number is stored in there. It's so easy to click that button. Sometimes you even forget. You forget that information's in there, and it's so easy to just click that button. So if you are a spendthrift, you like to spend money a lot. I know that it's convenient to have that number stored in there, and all you got to do is put in your PIN or security code on the back of your credit card or whatever. You may want to take that out because it's too easy. If you got your Amazon account set up and you got the one click and then boom, all you got to do is click it one time, you don't even have a time to think about it, to change your mind, double check that you put in the right color or the right size or whatever you're getting. You might want to remove that so you don't spend more money than you actually have, or you don't go overboard this particular year. All right? So I'm just going to warn you guys again about that. If you come across a fabulous deal, something that you just can't live without, you've been looking for it forever or whatever it is, knock yourself out. Just know how it's going to impact your credit score. You can come back from any of these things. You can come back from it. Just don't be mad at yourself and at FICO and the 800 credit score man and Advantage and Credit Karma and cursing them and us and me out because your credit score went down. That's what could happen. I also warn you guys every year this is a good time to check your credit report. So you want to go check your credit report as well. Now until April of 2021 at least, you can check your credit report at www.annualcreditreport.com for free every week. Every week you can go in and check TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So no excuse. Usually or before you would have to kind of wait and space it out so you can check one of your credit reports at this point in time. But right now and this year, you can go ahead and do it. So you might as well do it today. Check your credit report today. Go to www.annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com. Don't Google that. Go directly there and you'll be able to check all 3 credit reports. Will you get a credit score? No. You're not going to get a credit score, but you will get your credit report. Go in there, check it, make sure everything's good because it's a good time to do it. And then absolutely this year, especially with all this online shopping, the hackers are out. The hackers are trying to get into everybody's account because once they get in, by the time you figure it out, they already gone with that money, that merchandise, whatever it is. All right, so you want to make sure that you check your credit report around this time often, pretty often. And if you don't want to go through them, which is totally safe and secure and it's free, if you got a Credit Karma, whoever you want to check out, use them as well. You can go and check them. That score may be different than what a FICO score is because it's a Vantage score. However, that credit report that you see for TransUnion and Equifax on Credit Karma, for example, is always going to be the same. No matter if you got it directly from TransUnion or you got it directly from Equifax, it's always going to be the same. So you can feel free to go check that one out as well. All right. So y'all got that, right? Y'all got that. You got your lecture out. Just make sure you do the right thing by yourself. You know what I'm saying? You want to do this for you. So make sure you do the right thing when it comes to all of that. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about this week is your credit score going down. Why is your credit score decreasing? And specifically after you pay off an installment loan. Kind of talked about this a week or so ago. Talked about this a little bit. And some of the reasons, because it popped up again, question from a couple of people as well as an article that I saw. And a couple of the reasons, and I think I told you probably most of them. I try to be as thorough as possible. But I don't know if I mentioned, if this is your only installment loan and you pay off this installment loan, yes, your credit score is going to go down. I don't care how young it is. I don't care how old it is. If it's the only installment loan that you have on your credit report, your score is absolutely going to go down. Now, why is that? I know it's bass backwards, and you're like, but I fulfill my obligation. Hell, I even paid it off early, so my credit score should not be going down. Unfortunately, the system doesn't look at it that way. So what they're looking at is now that your only installment loan and you pay it off, one of the 5 pillars of credit talks about your mix. And that's the types of accounts that you have. An installment account, or if you got revolving accounts. when you have both of those accounts, then your mix is good. It's positive. This is 10% of your credit score. So if you pay off that installment loan and it was the only one that you had, now your mix is thrown off. Okay? So if your mix is thrown off, you're going to get a decrease in your credit score. So that's going to absolutely happen. Let's say this, and this isn't something that people typically know at all. It's kind of more in the weeds and more nuanced when it comes to this. But let's say it's your lowest balanced account. It's an installment account, and it's the lowest balanced account. Why in the world is that going to impact your credit score and make it go down? Let me just give you an example. Let's say you got 3 loans. You got 3 loans, right? So you got a car loan. Paid $30,000 for your car, whenever it was, and you still owe $25,000 on that loan. $30,000 car, you owe $25,000 on it still. So you haven't paid off that much of the vehicle. Then let's say you got a mortgage. You got a $200,000 mortgage. Who knows when you bought the house 2 years ago? You still owe $180,000. So if you looked at the percentage of how much money you owe from what you paid for it, it's relatively high, right? It's relatively high. Okay, so you owe $180,000 on your home. Nobody email me. Nobody text me talking about $200,000 homes. Who pays that? Look, you're thinking about your area and where you are. When you talk to people in California, talk to people in Seattle, you talk to people in the DMV, and those people will tell you a $200,000 home is a matchbox. It's very small. It's not in the best or greatest of neighborhoods. So $200,000 is not out of the realm of possibility. But every time I talk about home prices, inevitably somebody's going to contact me and say, $200,000, that's ridiculous. The average home price in America is $228,000. That's the average home price. If where you live, the average home price is $85,000, it's because of where you live. Not necessarily your area and your city, and your zip code or your street, but in your general area, that's how much it costs wherever you are. But the rest of the country, values are up and down all over the place. All right, so that is what it is. So let's get back to this. So your mortgage is $200,000. That's what you pay for it, and you still owe $180,000. So you owe a significant amount on the home versus what you pay for it. Now you got your third loan. Let's say your third loan was a car as well. You paid $30,000 for it, just like you did your first car that we talked about, but you only owe $3,000 left on it. And then you decide to go ahead and pay it off. Now, if you only owe $3,000, you only owe 10%. That's a small amount, right? That's a small balance of what you originally owed on this particular loan, and that's the one that you pay off. So you pay off that $3,000. Now, as far as the credit bureau looks, one, you closed it because it's an installment loan. Once they're done, they're done. They're closed. It's not like a credit card. It's done. So you close that one, and you paid off the smallest balance of your 3 installment loans. Now it looks like you owe a whole lot of money compared to where your original balances started, because now you only got the 2 things on there. You got your other car, and you have your mortgage on your credit report. So those are the things that you have on your credit report, and it just appears, and the system isn't as sensitive or smart enough to pick this up, and that makes your credit score go down as well. So it just does. So it's not like a credit utilization per se. It's not like a credit utilization, but that's the way the system kind of calculates things. That can cause your credit score to go down as well. I'm not saying don't pay that car off. Knock yourself off, pay that car off. You don't want to pay $500 a month for the next 6 months or whatever it is to get to that $3,000. You got this money in your pocket and you want to pay it off? Pay it off. By all means, pay it off. Do what's best for you financially, because your credit is just a tool to help you with your finances altogether. So you do that if you have to, if you want to. That's what you do. You do the best thing for you financially. Do not do things solely for your credit. Don't go out and use your credit card because you think you need to use a credit card to help you with your credit score. You don't need to do that. If there's a reason behind it, if there's a reason behind it, you need to boost your credit score now because you anticipate buying a home in 3 months. Then you do some manipulating.